Hello everyone, welcome to Jargus Ranger Review. This time we'll be looking at the third episode of Dino Supercharge, Nightmare on Amber Beach. And this one is a Shelby episode. I can't remember the last time we had one that really focused on her. And actually, this is the only Ranger so far, well, of the main team, that we haven't heard anything about the family. That is, until now. We get to meet her father. Well, we saw her at the beginning 2 episodes ago, but he had like 15 seconds on screen and that was it. This is where we really get to know her father. And by the way, it's the same guy that did Zeltrax and Dino Thunder, but you recognize him more as Colonel Truman in Power Rangers RPM. He was one of the best characters in that season too. However, this time, he's not entirely bald. He has a beard. And it kind of makes him look like one of the managers at my first job. And he's a lot happier too. If not ignorant. Because he wants her to go into business. Because he owns an ice cream conglomerate. Multinational. Only ice cream is the only business. But of course no. Shelby wants dinosaurs. Because that's what she's been passionate about. We've known this since the beginning of Season 1, and we've seen this repeated a few times throughout that season. And even at the first episode of this past season. Well, this current season, I should say. It was only 2 weeks ago. Anywho, what happens is he disapproves that she only got a B on one of her exams, but she's taking a retest in 2 days. And so she's studying. Of course then Heckle, who's still working there, brings her a package that has no return address, but she opens it and it's a pink pillow. She instantly falls asleep. Problem is, he has a monster called Nightmare. They call it a he, but it's all dressed in pajamas, has a feminine voice. I would call it a she. And when someone's asleep, they can go inside the head and make them have a bad dream and actually act through it as if they were awake. So she fights the Rangers, she thinks that they're all Vivics, until she even uses her Dino Saber, and she fights them until the pillow gets broken when Tyler trying to defend himself. Okay, that was a mouthful. So obviously they figure out something's up, because the monster disappears after that. So they go into the command center, and they figure out by testing the pillow that, well, yeah, it can make the Rangers fall asleep. So the whole time they have to stay up all night. We have a little montage of them just doing stuff, everyone. And Shelby studying, of course. But one thing I noticed about the background music during this, it could just be me that notices it. It sounds like the Butterfly Japanese opening to the first season of Digimon. Please someone tell me I'm not the only one who thinks this. Anyway, the next morning comes up and they're all struggling to stay awake. All the Rangers, so they're trying to support each other. And then Helkuda decides to have the real Vivics do a random attack, led by Fury. So the Rangers fight them, and they can barely keep up because, they're so tired. They're actually getting overpowered while morphed against Vivics. Until Ivan shows up. And he defeats the Vivics with one blast, but then he attacks the Rangers. Because it turns out he got slipped a pillow inside of a truck, getting some bread. So, oh no, they have to fight him. Well, they knock him out. Then they drag him about and they find it and he's okay. So yeah, these pillows are going around fast. Fortunately, no one else seems to be really damaged by it. And then we have to deal with Shelby's father again. And he's getting on to her because when she's studying, she's also looking at dinosaurs. And she's trying to get through to him that that's what she's passionate about. Her dinosaur studies. And that business is boring. That's not her calling. Of course, being a kids show, it's obviously exaggerated how he reacts. So he takes the whole team into the kitchen and tries to give them a little business lesson. So he talks about the little prices for pieces of a Bronto burger with the fries. And he just quickly mashes his hands around. Everyone's looking impressed, and he has it. He makes a whole plate of it, and it's presented pretty nicely with sparklers. And somehow his total was $2, and that made him $4 profit. I don't know exactly what happened, but yeah, they sound impressed. But then she pushes him out because Morgan shows up, and they are discussing strategy for fighting the monster. And what happens is Shelby has to go take her test, and Riley takes her to it. Now, a little bit of an odd thing I said. It was mentioned during the first season that she was 18, and now it's past Christmas time in canon, and yet she's still going to high school. Even though the things she was studying look like college level things, subjects. So, what kind of high school is she in then? Because everyone seems to be like 20-ish in their ages. Like a little older than high school age. It could have just been something to easily make it recognizable for the kids. Because they know that better than a college room. Its status to outside of a high school. Anyway, she quits in the middle of the test. But Riley isn't there to pick her up. That's because Curio put a pillow in his helmet. Which means he fell asleep. Yes, Curio is just doing random tasks now. Because poor Sandra's out the picture without Sledge. So he's just there. I wonder if Sledge will come back. I'd like to see that happen. Now back at the cafe, Heckle is putting them all to sleep with a pillow. And plucking the energems off one by one. Oh, he's close to victory. Except Shelby walks in and catches him in the act. And he tries to sweet talk his way out of it. But she figures out that he works for Snyde and breaks the pillow with her blaster. And when confronting him, his tattoo glows and no, he is Slyde. And he says, "I'll find your base soon and destroy you." And he warps off. They seem confused that he don't know where the base is after the last episode. Well, that's because Curio was a dumbass and made them forget. So, I guess it wasn't just a joke for the end. I'm really disappointed they revealed his secret that quickly. Because he was there for maybe a week? Or rather, basically the length of 2 episodes, 2.5. I don't know, that was just odd to me. Because they could have really expanded upon that. Having a villain right under their noses the whole time and not noticing it. It opened a lot of potential, but they squashed that plotline right away. And Heckle's not a pushover for power either. Neither is Snyde. Because first time we saw Snyde fighting, he was winning against the Ranger. Until he ran out of energy and had to run off as Heckle. And Heckle himself, he can nearly overpower an energem-based weapon, as we saw in the last season against Sledge and his blaster. So it's quite a mystery as to what the limits of his power is. And it would be great to find out what it is. And for the monster battle, it goes pretty quickly. I mean, Riley's about to hand over his energem, but the rest of the team shows up and forces Nightmare out. And the battle is really quick, too. I mean, they just pull out the weapons and blow them up. A strange thing, it cut... Now, something unique, it cut straight over to seeing him go big from the magnet beam. We don't even see it get beamed down through the satellite like we did for the last couple episodes. And so, that was unique. I guess that's just to quickly go through the motion since we know how it happens. It would have been nice to see though. In the Megazord battle, the Rangers have no hope of losing it. Because right away, they use their Dino Supercharged sabers to power up the Megazord. Shelby's running the main Megazord. And Tyler is in the Plesio. And of course, you have Ivan in his Zord. So pretty much, they all attack it at once and just really destroy it. The Dino Charged Megazord just does a spinning in air thing, holding a blade and just slashes down on it. It looked really cool. But ultimately, the Megazord battle was nothing. Because it was just showing off how cool the robots looked and then just destroyed the monster. There wasn't even any real strategy, just sheer power. And for our epilogue, well, Shelby's father, we actually found out her last name is Watkins, sees a little kid wanting to dig up dinosaurs, and her father is like, sure thing, honey, you can do that when you grow up. And that kind of gives her father a revelation that maybe he should let his little girl chase her dreams. So they two just reconcile, and she asks for one favor. And so for the last bit, they went inside a command center, and Shelby is like, I may not want the family business, but I can benefit from it. And what she ends up getting is Stegosaurus ice cream cake. And that's how we end off. And overall, this episode was okay. I mean, it was really silly and exaggerated, Shelby's story. But hey, it helped develop her, which is always a good thing. What I didn't like was the monster story. My really big complaint was they wasted the potential with the Snyde heckle inside the Dino Cafe story. They could have really spread that out and added a lot more tension to see how close he gets every episode. But now we have an interesting thing, because now he knows how to find them, at least somewhat. They might even have to move the command center. And we do see a bit of a shot of Keeper walking over to Ice Cream Cake. Yeah, that reminds us that he's still there, but really, he's had barely any influence since the first few episodes of the season. So yeah, it was a decent episode. I still recommend it. So now it's going to make the next episode interesting to see what direction they take it. But we'll cover that next time. Until then, let the power protect you.